Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM The Superstation. Radio Our Way, a division of Adele Media, the largest voice for African Americans. All right, right before the break, we were talking a little bit about Donald Trump, his alleged outreach to the African American community. On this past week on MSNBC, Roland Martin, who's the host of News One Now with Roland Martin, spoke with Thomas Roberts on MSNBC to really break down what this is really all about. Let's go to the clip. All right. So that was this past week on MSNBC. Thomas Roberts interviewed Roland Martin, and many people know, I guess, hosts Roland's national radio show on a regular basis as well. So Roland talked about this back in April on This Week with George Stephanopoulos on ABC, okay? And also check out the article. Now, there was a big article from this past week. I talked about it Thursday when I was on Steve Hood's show. I'm on Steve Hood's show every Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. Inside Donald Trump's new strategy to counter the view of many that he is racist. Inside Donald Trump's new strategy to counter the view of many that he is racist. This was a huge story from the Washington Post, August 23rd, 2016. And all day long on MSNBC, they were talking about this. There were a number of different stories written about it. But in the article, it says, for Trump, the objective is twofold. According to his aides and allies, he wants to make inroads with minority voters who polls show overwhelmingly support Clinton. He also believes that a more measured approach on race can convince white voters now shunning him, especially women, that he is not the racist that his inflammatory rhetoric might indicate. Okay, let's go. In this past Monday in Akron, Ohio, he said, quote, when talking about the quote-unquote minority experience, he said, quote, poverty, rejection, horrible education, no housing, no homes, no ownership, crime at levels nobody has seen. You could go to war zones in countries that we are fighting, and it's safer than living in some of our inner cities that are run by Democrats, end quote. Two main problems, well, there's a number of main problems with that. Number one, African Americans do have home ownership, even though we've lost 53% of our wealth since the downturn in the housing industry in 2007. We still do own homes, number one. Number two, crimes at levels nobody has seen. That's not true, because in the 1990s, crime was at much higher levels than it is right now. Number three, what he fails to talk about is that many of the cities where you have Democratic mayors and city council, like in Detroit, that are doing poorly, they're under Republican governors. There are 31 Republican governors out of 50 states, and many of those have Republican-dominated state legislatures. And that's where a lot of the damage is coming from, but he'll never tell you that. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM The Superstation. This is your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. We have right now the weather report brought to you by Weather Vision. It's 77 degrees outside and partly cloudy here in Detroit. Hey, I want to let you know that coming up Thursday, September 8th, 2016, at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, I'm doing a screening and discussion of the documentary Hidden Colors 4, The Religion of White Supremacy, along with one of my teachers, Professor James Small. You've seen him in Hidden Colors 2, you've seen him in Hidden Colors 4. This is a free event. It's part of the Liberation Film Series, 2016 to 2017, United We Stand, the Year of Rebellion, commemorating the 1967 Detroit Rebellion. This is put on by the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. There will be a questions and answers session with myself and Professor James Small, who is in Hidden Colors 3, Hidden Colors 4, The Religion of White Supremacy. Thursday, September 8th, 2016, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is a free event. Come on out, Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, located at 315 East Warren, Detroit Avenue, 315 East Warren, Detroit, Michigan, 48201. Shout out to Charles Farrell and Yolanda Jack for helping make this possible also. We'll have this information on our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Also visit the Wright Museum's website, theright.org, WRIGHT, theright.org. Oh, okay. I'll answer offline. Okay, thanks for calling in. I'll answer offline. Okay. Thanks for calling. We can say enslavement. We're dealing with a system, and we're dealing with a system that was imposed upon African people to extract their labor, intellectual capital as well. So, as Dr. Edward Robinson used to talk about, because he made his transition, he said that our ancestors were prisoners of war. He said they were never slaves, they were prisoners of war, but it was an enslavement process. It was a status of enslavement that they were in. But sometimes people are going to say slaves, but we have to understand that it was an enslavement process that they were in. And I definitely think we should stop using the N word. I don't use it. I call people Negroes because that speaks to their mentality. Some people's mentality, okay? Like some of the black pastors who are backing Donald Trump, okay? Some of them are just straight up Negroes. That's just all there is to it. All right. Thanks for calling, man. Thanks for calling. Okay, so maybe we'll talk some about that in another show, about some of the history of Liberia. Those are our brothers and sisters, but the Africans that are there, period, are our brothers and sisters also, because we have to understand the African people have been in this country going back at least 51,700 years. We didn't just come here August 20th, 1619. Even though that did happen, there were millions of African people already here. There were more African people already here than those who came during the transatlantic slave trade, number one. Number two, we were making constant trips back and forth to Africa. You have ancient Egyptians here, ancient Kemetic people. You have the Khoisan who are here. You have Mandinka. You have a lot of people who were here, okay? All right, now, very quickly, Donald Trump, and then we'll go back to the phone lines in just a minute here. Donald Trump, when he was in Diamondale, Michigan, back around August 19th, he said, quote, "What do you have to lose trying something new like Trump?" He said, quote, "You're living in your poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?" Well, what he's citing is grossly inaccurate. Number one, 26% of African Americans live in poverty. 100% do not. 50% of African Americans do not. 26% of African Americans live in poverty is about 10 million. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's acceptable, but all African Americans don't live in poverty. But this is the perception that he's giving to white America. Your schools are no good. Yes, there are problems with some African American schools, but not all of them. The other thing that he fails to realize is that there was an article from theroot.com that clearly showed how African American women are the group that has are the most educated group in this country. When you look at the percentage of African American women who are college educated compared to other groups, and we'll share that information with you here in just a minute. I'm trying to find that. Oh, here we go. TheRoot.com. Black women now the most educated group in U.S. June 5th, 2016. Black women now the most educated group in U.S. June 5th, 2016. Now, two important things here. Number one, they talk about a report from the National Center of Education Statistics that shows that the percentage of African American students enrolled in college increased from 10% in 1976 to 15% in 2012. But the percentage of white students enrolled in U.S. colleges decreased from 84% in 1976 to 60% in 2012. I don't think he's going to tell you that. When you break it down by race and gender, African American women, 9.7% of African American women are enrolled in college, compared to 8.7% of Asian women, 7.1% of white women, 6.1% of white men. So when you actually read this article, it breaks this down. Black women now the most educated group in the U.S. based upon the percentage of their population enrolled in college. TheRoot.com, June 5th, 2016. I don't think Donald Trump, Omarosa, or Katrina Pearson are going to tell you that. Secondly, he talks about 58% of youth are unemployed. Well, when we fact check this, and if you look at NBCnews.com, August 8th, 2016, fact checking Donald Trump's economic speech in Detroit. Fact checking Donald Trump's economic speech in Detroit. Okay, on page 2 of the, let's see, what is this? Page 3 of the article. His claim: 58% of African American youth are outside the labor force and not employed. Technically, technically it's true. 57.3% of Black Americans ages 16 to 24 are outside of the labor force or unemployed based on workforce participation. But he doesn't tell you that 43.5% of white Americans 16 to 24 are unemployed or outside the labor force as well. He doesn't tell you that. Now, what he's doing, however, is he's including full-time students who either lack the desire or ability to work independently of their caregivers into that number, which is not an accurate number. This is why PolitiFact.com said that the way he's presenting it is mostly false also. So this is one of the things I do, especially on my national show. I fact check he and Hillary Clinton so we can deal with the facts.